Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Urfspace Live, or this
Yay,
one we're calling
Urfspace Live.
Urfspace and Art Glitch, till we have a better
Yes.
name for a show that's our show without poor Dale. Well, he's gone to, I'm not exactly sure what it is. It's some, I
It's a
thought it
robot
was describing it as a
funeral.
memorial to a robot who presented a TV show, because his
It's a
hat also
robot
produced a
funeral.
TV show. But he said it wasn't a funeral because it's more complicated with robots. Oh, and I forgot to wear my new hat. I got a new hat.
Isn't that like a pussy hat from a couple like 2016 when we had the Women's
Oh no,
March?
it's a brand new one. I got it on Thursday. I went exhibited some art at the Pancakes and Booze show, which is quite good. They let you put two pieces on the wall for free, and you pay $15 for every other piece. So I thought, well, that's quite
Nice.
cheap. I was looking to show some of my art. I didn't sell
Yeah.
any, and I got to say but I had a really good time meeting lots of other artists. And I traded a copy of Earthspace Heroes with a young person who knitted this hat, and I consider that a
Nice.
major victory. That some person who's knitting
Well,
pink pussy hats wanted to trade me for Earthspace Heroes, which I consider a good
it
book that
it
I would like young
takes
people to enjoy.
it takes time to knit, and it looks like a very well-made hat. And it
It's
looks like
very
it's
nice. I
very
feel very good in
warm.
this hat. I might wear it all day
Yes.
today. I'm going with Lemon to the Schultz Museum.
I
And
think
the
you got the
National
better
Cartoonist Society.
deal.
We've got a National Cartoonist Society outing today.
I think you got the better deal because the hat is a functional item, whereas a painting is an aesthetic item.
Yes, I thought it was a good deal. I thought it
Yes.
was, I agree.
Yes.
I mean, that's still, I mean,
Not to knock your art, because I love your art. I'm
I
like one
know,
of your biggest
I
fans.
know.
But
No, it's good to be
but
the only person selling hot dogs at the hamburger convention. I mean, I
yeah.
was, I did quite well with board games at the comic book shows. People go, "Oh, I like a board game." A board game also a functional item. That's the problem with comics; they do require a little bit of intelligence and effort
Yes.
over just sitting there looking at YouTube or TikTok, which I'm doing quite well on TikTok. Thank you,
Yes.
anybody who's come here from TikTok. Well, not quite well on
So
TikTok. I mean,
yeah, I
I'm
got to
getting some
pick your
likes on
brain.
TikTok.
I got to pick your brain about TikTok. I have not touched TikTok yet, but I note that you have had some success on TikTok, and people seem to really like your speed up draws, your time lapses.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah,
Yes, that has been going well.
good.
And also welcome anybody on Twitch, because we've had some people come in on Twitch too
Yeah,
over recent weeks. But they made me, or probably people who've been watching your Twitch show, because you're more up on Twitch.
I don't know. We'll see. Speaking of drawing and stuff like that,
Yes.
so I have figured out the new restream thing. To get both of our screens up on the screen at the same time, you'll see that I am sharing an extra camera that is actually my screen. And
Oh,
so
okay. Let's have a look
that
at that.
way,
All right.
yeah, that way when you share your screen, we can have my extra camera and your screen on screen at the same time. And so this is
Yes,
just
and that's what we're going to try and do today. Is we're both going to be drawing at the same time on our screens.
yes.
We used to be able to do that, so I think that's fine. But then after an hour, we're going to swap, and we're going to
Oh,
finish each other's drawings.
Do you know how
oh,
to share your screen on Restream?
Yeah, I'm just putting up a screen.
yeah. Yeah, but I figured out the techie bit on the other side. And then I thought I would take this opportunity to go Philo tonight, 9 p.m.
Yes.
Eastern Standard Time, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. It's twitch.tv/artglitch. Don't know if, I guess you stream it out when you come on the show. And you keep getting invited because you're cool. This was the last panel where we left off with Meow going, "Get out of my vacation lair," and you can see Philo is tied up, and then the dog is in a Japanese kimono because there was a tea ceremony in Secret Lair Falls. There are mushroom people. That's what all the tops of these things are, is the mushroom people in Secret Lair Falls. I love Philo. It's a wonderful thing. Yeah. Anyway,
what happened?
yeah, it's kind of hard to explain. That being said, I still love it still. And Okay, so we're gonna close that up.
All right, let's get a good layout. Let's maybe like this or something.
Yeah, you guys don't need to see Philo's stuff. Do not save.
Where's the even where we're all 4x4?
Okay.
How about that?
Oh, this is going to be my commission for Dale. I'm doing the last scene from Circle of Iron with Core looking in the book and seeing himself, right? But they're all cats. And so that's my sketch. What do you think?
I think it looks fantastic. I'm sure there are other people besides Dale who would enjoy that image.
Well, I'm going to do it in the same style.
You have to tell me it was the last scene of Circle of Nine because I've been really remiss. Dale's my great friend now. I mean, we've been hanging out and chatting away and he keeps telling me to watch three movies.
So Circle of Iron.
I've seen Zardoz many times. That's part of what.
Okay, Circle of Iron. Very simple plot. Very simple plot to Circle of Iron. Okay, it's Kung Fu Panda. Yes. All right, that's the plot of Circle of Iron. It's Kung Fu Panda. It's like, you have to go in search of this great knowledge, but the power is really within yourself, right? And so, so anyway, he described this big thing. He wanted Huey and, the reflection of that. And then he wanted Christopher Lee being young and, because Christopher Lee's in the scene wearing the fancy robes with like the flowers on the front and stuff. And, I'm turning them into cats. That's just what's happening.
That's Christopher Lee again. Okay.
Yeah, it's Christopher Lee.
Like Christopher Lee. Okay, I should see that. I do want to see that one. I've got that. And then the other one is Charlie Muffin, which I tried to see. I tried to watch it on YouTube, which they had it.
Did you see the commission I did of Charlie Muffin for Dale?
I don't know if I did see it actually. Your Charlie Muffin.
Yeah, let me pull.
No. We watched about 10 minutes. I was actually watching it with Chris. And
I haven't
Chris
seen it yet.
He's actually quite good. Like, watched all those movies that Dale was recommended. But we found it too hard on YouTube. It was too grainy. We were trying to watch it on a big screen. So I didn't get very far with it. But all right, Dale said. I mean, I know it's about something about like if anything mysterious ever happens to Dale, we're all going to have to watch that movie because the answer. I know the answer's in that movie. But we
so this is my Charlie Muffin commission.
Okay, that's
that
good.
I did for
Is
Dale.
That Huey, or does Charlie Muffin have a cat?
No. Charlie Muffin does not have a cat. This is him meeting his like contact in a park scene, and that I used for reference, and then I put a cat in it because that was the discussion. Is that he wanted Charlie Muffin? That's just what he said. He wanted Charlie Muffin. He said put a cat in it, and so I did, and so. So again, the third commission
like
for him, I guess,
he's got like an evil cat, like the James Bond villain.
Yeah, and so the third commission is Circle of Iron, and he wants. I want the scene and young Christopher Lee and the book and his reflection and all this stuff, and I want cats in it, right? So I am doing what he has requested.
Okay. Okay. Good. So, have you seen Circle of Iron?
I watched the whole damn thing. It's Kung Fu Panda.
Yeah. Okay. Good. And
it's Kung Fu Panda.
It?
Yeah. I think Kung Fu Panda did the story better. I think that it's not that Circle of Iron is a bad movie. It's definitely a 70s movie, right? And it has that feeling of. Racist. I'm not. Ian says that because of the monkey people.
Well, and it's got a white hero.
Yeah, it has a white hero doing, Asian.
Oh yes, because
martial
Bruce Lee.
arts.
Yes, it was like, wasn't it stolen from Bruce Lee? It was like Bruce Lee's movie, and then he took it away from him.
Yeah, just like Kung Fu, and also starring David Carradine, just like Kung Fu. That.
Yes,
was another
Kung Fu too. That same thing happened. Yes.
Yeah, and so
yeah.
Did
he get paid nothing for those, or did he did get paid for them, right?
I don't think so. No, I think he pitched them and then they just stole his ideas. But yeah, so Core is this asshole that you meet at the very beginning of the movie. I'm sorry. Okay, we will be PG-13. He's a doo-doo head that you meet at the beginning of the movie who's like, I'm the best ever, and I'm going to go and read this book from this great warrior, right? And so as he's going to try and get the book, he runs into David Carradine, who's a blind kind of sage character who's like giving him advice, which isn't like good advice that he thinks. And like at one point he burns a dude's boat so that like soldiers won't find them, but there's no explanation as to why they're being chased by soldiers. Like it's, you know, it's poorly structured story wise. And it was definitely done on a shoestring budget. And there's like these trials that Cor has to go through in order to prove that he's worthy to read this book. Right. So at the very end, he's at like the temple, and there's Christopher Lee all young, wearing the robes, and they put him in robes and they sit him down, and they're like, okay, you have the option to read the book, or you can sit here and guard the book and replace me and be the one that's the great warrior from now on, right? And he's like, no, I'm going to read the book, right? So he opens up the book, and it's a mirror. And every page is a mirror. I see,
and I'm getting that now. And I see that I was laughing because I saw the little hand cat paw on the.
Yes. So you understand, right? Because that's the scene in the movie, is that he puts his hand on it when he looks at the book. And I mean, that scene's like close. What I did is I took a conglomeration of a bunch of the scenes from, like a bunch of shots from the scene, and I kind of put them together in one shot. So I kind of like mushed them all together.
It's a good subject. It's quite sort of like your drawing's quite serious, but it's very funny. You're getting into Beatrix Potter territory there. So like I said, it's rough. It's still sketch, right? But there's intricacy to the design of the book. There's intricacy to the design of the robes and stuff. So I'm gonna be getting into the costumes,
as serious as a funeral with how I render everything, and the cat heads and stuff. But I think the fact that they're cats, I think, will sell the idea, and hopefully Dale's not watching and he'll be surprised. But who knows?
Well, check in, Dale, if you're here.
Yeah, who knows?
All right. Well, that's pretty good. And what about Charlie Muffin? Did you see that?
No. Dale's already has Charlie Muffin. He's had it for a while.
But when you didn't watch the movie to make the commission.
I didn't watch the movie. No, I didn't watch the movie. I haven't watched the movie yet. I tried to sit down for Zardoz. I admit I tried to sit down for Zardoz, and I got in like 10 minutes, and I was looking for a plot so hard, and it just didn't. Maybe I just wasn't in the mood.
You have to stick with Zardoz.
Yeah.
And then it's quite, by the end you're like, well, I probably need to see that again. And then you watch it again, and then it's quite rewarding again on the second time. And then like Adele seems to say he watches it every week, and that's very rewarding.
Okay. What I'm afraid of is that what's going to happen is I'm going to have to sit down and watch it with Dale, and he's going to be pausing it and explaining stuff to me, and then restarting the movie, and then we'll watch 5 minutes, and then he'll pause it and explain stuff to me, and then we'll watch the movie for another 10 minutes, and then he'll pause it and explain stuff to me. I'm afraid that's what's going to happen.
All together, we had a Zardoz night. This was just before the pandemic.
Did he let you watch it, or did he keep pausing the movie?
No, but he gave us a little talk before, which was really good.
A talk before?
He stood up and he talked for a little while.
Okay,
and it was really good. And we watched the movie, and then I can't remember if you talked again at the end, or we had a good discussion at the end.
Yeah, I could go for a prologue to watching the movie, but I hate the mansplaining, stopping the flow of the story. Like,
he didn't do that actually. He was quiet and let us enjoy it. Yeah, and we were a few of us, so we didn't. Because you hate mansplaining during a movie? Oh dear.
It's like my biggest pet peeve. Is to me, let the filmmakers do the storytelling, right? At least for the first viewing, let me see what the filmmakers want to say. And so, like the first time I ever saw Eraserhead.
I never saw it. I've still never seen it. I'm saving it for a rainy day.
The person that I was with did the stop and explain. We got through about maybe half hour of the movie, but it was like 2 hours in. And he's like, okay, let's take an eat break and then we'll get back to it. And I'm like, no way. Like there's no way to appreciate the flow of that movie stopping it and then having a lecture and a discussion about it of mansplaining going on.
That's a shame. Yes.
Tina says splaining.
Tina's ex.
Mansplaining.
New version of
So
Seven
not
Samurai,
necessary.
but apparently Tina's ex.
Yeah.
Tina's ex didn't like, or really liked Seven Samurai and made her watch it 2 times. She won't watch Seven Samurai.
Okay.
Got mansplained through it.
So you want to do a switchy image thing. What is the dimensions of the image that you are working with?
Okay, I've made myself an A4 canvas here.
A4 canvas.
I don't mind them, but you don't have to do the same one. You could do a different one. We're going to swap.
No, but that's what I'm saying. It's what is your resolution?
300 DPI. I've done A4 at 300 DPI.
Okay, 300 DPI. Okay.
So I don't want to overdo it.
All right, and then I don't want that. I'll do that. Okay. There. A4 300. Now, are you landscape or portrait?
I've gone landscape, but you
can okay. I can switch. I can switch.
Maybe actually, I was going to say maybe you should do portrait, and then we'll switch. And
no. Let's do landscape.
We'll switch. And
we'll do
because it doesn't matter what we like, then we'll just be working in the different canvas.
Well,
we're going to digitally swap files. I'm going to send you my file.
We have layers, my friend. Okay, and we have technology at our disposal. By the way, you should probably remove your logo because it's blocking your face.
What? Oh yeah.
Yeah, when
I can do that. I can do that.
Yeah, that's a Sam issue. I'm sorry. I'm because I run my own Restream show. There are things that like when I see it, I want to and fix it, and I can't because you have a Sam. You have Sam that does it.
Well, okay. What you're working in? What app?
Yeah, I'm in Clip Studio Paint, and what I'm saying is that we have technology at our disposal. I can save in a PSD. You can save in a PSD and maintain layers as well as.
We can use my Google Drive or whatever, and we'll swap the files.
Yeah. Can you, in the private chat, just give me the link to your Google Drive again so I can have it popped up in a window?
Yeah. Let me make a little folder for us. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll do that. And then what we'll do is we'll just pop it in there. So are we jumping from a prompt? Are we just drawing out of our heads? What's going on here?
Yes, that was the next question. Yes.
Yes.
I hadn't really thought about that. Other than I thought, like, okay, if we start with a figure, we do a figure, and then the other person can then do a background and possibly another figure, or more figures. But so you start with a sort of a character, a figure.
Yeah.
And then there's a background. But yeah, beyond that, I hadn't really thought. I mean, how does that sound?
Okay. Yeah. We just kind of like make landscape be people standing around whatever objects, like, hey, here's a chair. Yeah, okay.
Well, they could be sort of more interacting. I don't know. I mean, one time I sat with my friend and we drew, like, he drew a character. I drew a character. We sort of did these.
My friend, we're 20 minutes in and we haven't started drawing yet. Let's just start drawing.
Yes.
Welcome to the show.
Yeah. So I will go amber layer 1. All right, and then that way we can just organize this layer later. All right. Yeah, see, I try and run a tighter ship than you, my friend. And
yeah, I do all that. I didn't even know
what we're drawing.
At layers. Oh, I used to do everything very carefully. I got a bit more sloppy in my old age.
Okay. Well, I think what I'm going to do, I don't know. I think I'm going to draw a robot. I haven't drawn a robot in a while.
Okay. Well, I'm going to draw an Urfspace girl. And then
girl?
I might do that again on your robot. Or I could draw a robot too. Well, maybe I'll draw. Do you want to draw robots today?
Let's draw robots.
Well,
robots are fun.
Start with robot. That sounds good.
Ian says we should draw female robots.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's a good idea. I'll do Ian said.
Fembots, Ian says. No, I'm just going to draw a robot.
Yeah, I'm doing fembot.
Sexy fembots.
That's the kind of commission I like.
With vibrating parts.
Yeah, he's like sexy fembops, vibrating parts. It's like, no, Ian. No.
It's like their ears vibrate.
Like their ears vibrate.
Yeah, to let you know when you've got an incoming call.
Okay. Do this and then I don't know. Like,
okay, what are you on Google?
Just
Google.
no, just send me
Well, I can send you the link. Yeah, okay. I was just gonna share the folder with you though.
Yeah, just share the folder with my email.
Your regular email, yeah.
Yes. Technology. We live in a wonderful world of wonderment and technology.
Yes. Wait, hang on. Right, I won't share your email. Hang on. Okay, where?
Like seriously.
Okay, you are a Gmail. Okay, right. Okay.
Yeah. I know because you've had to send me panels there and stuff. So.
All right.
Okay. There we go. Folder shared with me. Open. Open.
All right. Very good.
Okay, there we go.
Right, I'm going to do a bit of underdrawing. All right, so we'll swap. Well, it's 10:20 now, but all right, we'll swap around about the hour, so we can take a little time.
Okay.
Do it nice.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm drawing a mech kind of robot, I think.
Oh wow! Oh my goodness, you did a lot quick.
What?
I got to get caught up. You did a lot fast.
I have to divorce myself from perfection. I realize.
Yeah.
And so that means on my sketches, I realized if I widen my brush and I work with a really fat brush, like I'm happier with the sketches than if I'm noodling tiny little lines. Right. And then when I go into like ink it and actually like build the construct, then because I'm working with fat lines, like it's like malleable, I can get the lines better. I don't know. It's weird. It's like sketching with a big thick pencil, I guess.
Yeah, I'm going ahead. I'm doing this as a bit old school drawing. Like I don't know. Lately I've been just sort of ignoring this part of the process and just sort of going straight in just for exercise. I mean, I still do it in my sort of
you can go
like, on a lot of my show work.
You can go straight in. This is just my process. You know, mine is just different. Yeah, I think he's going to have chicken legs. See, how did the... Yeah, I can hear my daughter in the other room. Let's see. That's that. Thanks. That's that. Star Wars.
She's looking at Star Wars.
I'm looking at how they constructed the legs on the little chicken walkers.
Oh yeah, okay. You're looking at some reference.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I pulled up Lego, and that didn't really help me. Let's see. Star Wars. Okay. Take off legs, and then it pulls up the actual thing because it thought I was trying to look at Legos. Okay, I see.
Well,
all right.
We watched a good movie last night.
Yeah, what'd you watch?
It was called Blink Twice. And I didn't realize it when we were watching it, but it turned out it was directed by Zoe Kravitz, which I was a bit surprised about.
Yeah.
And then when I read up a bit about it after it said her original title, she wanted to call it was Pussy Island. But apparently the MPAA and women didn't like that.
Yeah.
She decided to change it, which is probably a good idea. But as you can guess, it was about a bunch of women who were like taken by Channing Tatum as a sort of charming billionaire who takes them off to his private island, and they're all having a good time. Then after a while, they start to realize that perhaps they're not remembering everything.
Mm-hmm.
It started with a bit of a trauma warning at the beginning, but Tina liked it, and
okay,
yeah, it was quite good. Yeah, it was kind of a feminist sort of slasher horror movie. Sort of
now
thing.
I have a question.
Before. It's not like that's new, but she did quite a good take on it.
Now I have a question. If you build a robot with human parts, Is it a
Yeah.
Frankenstein creature or a robot or a cyborg?
Yeah, I'm forgetting this is a robot. This is like getting very old school, like construction drawing. Dale would like.
Oh,
this
you're
because
going for like Fembot. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Well,
is it?
yeah,
Is it?
I think Ian's he's good. He should be an art director. It's the kind of commission I like.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I think we're gonna have like a brain in here driving the show with like two little eyeballs, watching what's going on.
In a way, like doing the underdrawing is more confusing because I don't want to do the right lines. I sort of want to do all the wrong lines.
Yeah, I think and then we'll see his like spine in here. And then I'll do like the front, kind of have that come around like that. And then I feel like he needs a flag, right? Like a little.
Yeah.
Here, we'll put the little power symbol on there, right, for like robot rights. Yeah, we'll do that. Okay. And then I don't know. I feel like he's not balanced yet.
No, you can be a bit more cheaty when you're digital. You can do all these things that you just can't do. Like what I just did there. I just the legs. Well, they were sort of wrong, but I can sort of skew them, and I don't know. Yeah, you can you sculpt it out a bit more.
Yeah. Well, and when in doubt, Control Z.
Yeah, Control Z. There's always Control Z. Undo.
Yeah.
Cut and paste.
Yeah, cut and paste. Okay.
All these things are very useful. Killer apps.
I'm gonna look up a motorcycle engine. I'm looking up a motorcycle engine.
All right. Well, I don't know if there's been anything else going on that we want to discuss.
I told you my plan for keeping my sanity. My plan
is Sebastian Pennyworth III.
Yes. And since I'm getting him rebuilt, Ian had the suggestion that he should be Sebastian Pennyworth III Jr. And I kind of love it. I kind of love it because it fits with the insanity of what he is so much. And so I'm kind of behind that. Yeah. Do you want me to talk about Sebastian, or do you want me to just kind of like?
Sebastian, because I wondered because I've got Theodore, Ted Theodore Logan, the Magma Bear.
Yes. Well, that's just it. I thought that Magma Bear
saying Sebastian wants to run under the Magma Cat as a Magma
No,
Bear.
I thought that they could be running mates.
I'm not sure Magma. I might have gone off Magma.
No. I thought
he feels like Trump is like Trump's the junk food candidate. He likes junk food. He was going to eat whichever candidate won. He thought really that Kamala was more of the. She was going to make
like she's turkey links compared to a big steak.
I'm not sure. They were both good Magma Cat.
Yeah. But no. I was thinking about Magma Bear too because he has a place in the Pennyworth campaign. But yeah, so Sebastian Pennyworth III was a puppet I ran for president in Minnesota in 2008. And that's when Barack Obama was elected president. And it was not a critique of Obama in any way. It was more a critique of the Republican Party at the time and all the bullshit that they were spouting. And even Jon Stewart on The Daily Show was calling it. Yeah, well, Jon Stewart on The Daily Show was calling it Bullshit Mountain, right? And so they were doing everything like the birther stuff, everything in their power to try and discredit him. And so Sebastian was a response to that and about the insanity of it. And so my whole idea with him is that he has like good ideas, good fiscal responsibility, like stuff that's really thought out, mixed with just total out there, doesn't even make sense, like almost sci-fi ideas of wackiness. And yeah, and so that's kind of what I think I'm going to do to keep my sanity.
Yes. I think it's a good idea. I like the cut of Sebastian's jib.
Yes. Did you watch the stupid little YouTube videos I made 17 years ago?
Sebastian, but I'd definitely vote for Sebastian. Over what we got.
Well, again, to let viewers know and stuff that I had 37 people vote for him. It was 0.0003% of the vote in Minnesota. I actually got him on the state ballot for president because they have an open primary in Minnesota, and so it doesn't matter who you put on there; you can vote for anyone. And so, for that one,
yes. Just remember to keep your message really, really simple, so that really simple people can understand it.
He ran under the puppet party.
Success.
Yeah, he ran under the puppet party.
In America.
Yeah.
No, well, I'm not. Unfortunately, Magba, Great Britain isn't. That's the biggest joke. Is that it's not any better. I mean, okay, we've got Keir Starmer right now, who's a sort of middle of the road liberal who won't tell anybody what he thinks, which sounds quite good. I think he seems like. I'm generally a middleist who thinks that you should listen to what people are saying and react to that rather than say I'm going to do this, and this, and but we did have Boris Johnson, who was equally wacky and tried to get away with all sorts of crap. He was a bit different.
Yeah.
Boris Johnson was more of an Etonian posh twat, which takes one to know one.
Were there lots of bojos in your? Was there a lot of bojos in your? What do you call it? Boarding school experience? Were there people like Boris?
There's one kid, and I was probably more friendly with him than most people because my mum would always say you have to be sort of friendly with the kids that nobody wants to be friends with. But he was always really sort of mean to me as well. He was sort of an asshole.
Mm-hmm.
And he actually been at like both my schools. He was at one school.
The best kinds of friends.
Like even like he really like, but it never seemed to bother him at all. And guess what? He ended up conservative politician.
No,
didn't bother him that he had no friends, and even the people that did talk to him, he was just sort of rude to them.
There's a couple of people that like I went to high school with and stuff that kind of became famous later. There was a guy I dated for a little bit that became a boxer, and he wasn't bad. He became like 5th in the world at one point in amateur divisions and stuff. And I ran into him years later and stuff, and he's telling me like I was the girl that he missed, and I was the one who got away, and blah blah blah. Meanwhile, he has another girl's name tattooed on his arm. It's just like
that's a bit of a giveaway. You're the only one for me.
Yeah, exactly.
I've still got a bit of room for you on my left butt cheek.
Yeah.
Been saving this spot just for you.
Yeah, exactly. You understand then why I didn't think that, I thought I had better prospects ahead of me.
Yes,
and then I met Ian
years
later.
Prospects, it looks like.
Yeah, Ian's good people. He takes good care.
He seems like good prospects.
I'm just kind of going detail crazy with this a little bit. I should add like gears. So we're gonna have like gears.
They've rotated them almost 90 degrees now from how I first drew them.
Are you doing like an at?
No, I'm just the foot.
Gotcha. Doing the reverse knee.
Yeah. Let's see. There we go. Okay. I just wanted to see how they kind of put the foot together.
What else to spend? Okay, well.
Yeah. So what's been up in Chuckland?
Oh, well, yes. So I did this art show on Thursday,
Yay!
which was good. And
Yeah, talk about your art show.
yeah, so you had to be there, like you had to, you could set up between 1 and 5, and I got them at 1:30. Payment helped, and but already like all the keen artists were already there, bagging all the best spots. Because it's like it's just sort of grab your spot. But so I got a spot up on the balcony though, which was quite good. It was 2 floors looking down. It was an okay spot in the end. It was a bit sort of cramped, but it was quite nice because you could look down on everything else. And,
sometimes the cramped spots. Sometimes the cramped spots forces people to look at your stuff.
Yeah, well, some people, I got some good interest from people, and people took it in note. And I went around, I talked to people like you, and I shot a little video there, and I met some people from Art Battle and stuff like that. So making friends, meeting friends. It was a good time. But yeah, then somebody at the end came up, like one of the artists who sort of packed up early, and then another artist looking a bit miserable came up and wrote, "Pancakes do not pay rent," on the empty space.
Wait, pancakes do not pay rent?
That was a bit bitter, but yes, I think it was true. Like if you're an artist, like you're there for 5 hours, you paid some money. They didn't seem to do a good enough job of bringing in buyers. There were a couple of people. I did see a couple of people that looked to me like, like you see these sort of wealthy young couples, like got a bit of disposable income going around looking for art. There was some of that for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean they're not wrong. And the thing is you live in an interesting area where you have to make a lot of money to live there. Right? And it's so if an event like that has, people put a lot of their time and a lot of their effort and money, into that event, and then they feel like they're not getting a lot in return, sometimes it could mean groceries.
Well, we've talked about this on the show, and you talked about like sort of doing open mic comedy. And a lot of these things, I mean, okay, the people organizing the event are trying to make some money. They've got to make the money. Everybody's got to try and make some money. There's just not a lot of, there's never really much money to be made.
Yeah.
Somebody's making it, I mean, I guess the event organizer, they're doing a successful event.
Yeah.
I mean, it's down to you as an artist, I suppose. But you would expect that they would do more to bring people in. I mean, if you're going to like have artists come back to your event, you've got to bring people in. But otherwise, but I mean, I would definitely go back again just because I had a fun time. But if it sort of went not making much sales, I probably wouldn't bother.
Yeah. I know. I mean, I've been in that situation where it's like, not here in Denver, but in Minnesota, there's a lot of different art communities, and there's like Dr. Sketchy's, and then there's the cartoonist conspiracy out there, and then there's a drink and draw, an illustration society. It's a really healthy art community in Minnesota, in Minneapolis and St. Paul in particular. And so there's painter societies. There's all this. They have, especially in the summer, they have art, outdoor like art shows and stuff where people put up boards, and then they'll put their paintings up on the boards, and people will go to the park on a day, and they'll have live music and walk through and stuff. And it's a great date night and stuff. But sometimes people don't make sales. And it's like they've spent all this time, all this effort getting their stuff out there, and they've handed out a couple cards. And it's like, they could have spent that day working on commissions, or I don't know, working on a book or something that might have brought in more income than what they ended up doing.
But it's part of your process. You have to show it to get people's reaction to it. And if your goal is to sell, like your goal might be independently wealthy, and you want to put there. and create something that, you know, is perfect art. That's great. Otherwise, you know, are you trying to sell work? Are you trying to make something commercial? Well, then you have to sort of show it to people. You have to get people's reaction, and you know, you have to do a bit of market research and marketing, and these are all anathema terms to artists, but you know,
I
mean,
love
you
digital
have to
because
consider
I
how
can
much
just
you need to do
copy
it,
the leg.
or get a day job and do your art at night. You know,
Yes.
and then do these events, and then that's not a stress to you to pay a little bit of money to do an event, and then but that's how you do it. You get to know, you know, am I happy, am I having fun, am I doing things that I like, am I doing things other people like, do I like the way that people are reacting to my work?
Now, Chuck,
It's the
let's
reaction I want
talk
to get
about
from my work.
let's talk about privilege for a second, okay?
Yeah.
Somebody with privilege has the ability to fully work on their art. If they don't sell on an event weekend, they can take the hit, right?
Yeah.
But somebody without privilege that is working a day job, and art is something that they really care about doing, and they put a lot of their time and effort into. If they invest time and effort into that weekend, and then it's a dismal weekend that doesn't have any sales, like, it hits them a lot harder than the person that can afford to not have a good weekend.
Yeah.
So it's what privilege is it's the absence of obstacle. And it's not to say that you don't have difficulty when you have privilege. It's just to say that it's more difficult when you don't have privilege.
Yeah.
So
no doubt. You know, I mean, yeah. Oh, it's like, yes. I mean, it's not. You know, you got to eat. Or like, oh, then you have to really think. Well, what is the purpose of art? Yeah, it's a higher purpose.
Yes.
But you've got to eat.
Yes. And so I just, you know, it's really easy to take the hit when you can take the hit. You know, not everyone can take
I
the
think
hit.
as an artist, whatever kind of artist you are, you have to take a lot of hit. I mean, the other day I was talking about MC Escher, because like he was basically privileged. He didn't have to work.
Absolutely.
You know, and he was able to sort of work away and refine that, and you know, get to a point where he was able to do what he was. But it wasn't until he was much on in life where he was really doing anything that anybody was much interested in.
I would argue that MC Escher, it wasn't when he was much later in life. It's that he had developed that following because he did have the privilege to be able to continue the time to work on his woodblock prints and stuff, and create these massive portfolios of work, right? So in his later life, he was able to do things like sell books, sell print collections, right, and sell stuff, and people were just like, oh wow, I love this one and this one and this one. When he was trying to do the single prints sales ones, or you know, people would be like, wow, that's really cool, but he may not sell it because it just didn't capture them then. But when he had the collections, the portfolios later in life, that's why people noticed him, was because he had amassed all that work together. And so
there was some magazine article about him that was like really shot into fame.
And again, we're talking about privilege. That was a friend of his that wrote that article. That was like,
exactly.
Let me do you a favor.
And like, are you in that world? And again, the world was sort of smaller then. Now the world's bigger. So I don't know. It's just I don't think things have changed. It's just like, okay, for the whole world to know you is a bit harder, but to have as many people as MC Escher, then it's not so hard. But it's confusing right now. I mean, but it's always been like that with art, because people don't need it. People, the people your buyers, they need to eat too. You need a good economy for everybody.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I feel like if you read history, you understand that it doesn't repeat itself, but it does rhyme. And I feel like the current generation of elite people have forgotten to pay their pitchfork insurance.
Yeah. So
That
that's what
is-
happens. People get angry enough, out come the pitchforks. But they've got quite
Yeah.
good at keeping everybody docile with social media and all this sort of stuff now. So I don't know. It's complicated.
I'm just saying the pitchforks are might come out. You know, it's when the wealth disparity was this bad in France, they revolted and took off the heads of all the royalty and basically created a people's republic.
But what are you worrying for? Trump will fix it. That's what he's going to be really good at. I like the
Oh,
famous-
you better not be. You better not be. Your body, my choice.
He was using the slogan of the worst paedophile in all of history. I mean, I'm not sure if you watched the British horror story Jimmy Savile on Netflix, but I suggest you watch it. But his show that ran on British TV for like 20 or 30 years was called Civil Fiction, used as a vehicle for molesting people up and down the country for that, for 50 years. Until he was caught, like shortly before he died, really, he was out. The internet came along.
I was wondering where those references were coming from.
Trump will fix it. That's Jim will fix it slogan. So if Trump doesn't turn out to be a paedophile, because Jim will fix it also, they found out afterwards, he was telling us all the time that he was a paedophile. He was, he was saying it the whole time, but everyone thought, oh, he's just joking.
Well, you know what? You heard about all the Nickelodeon stuff, right?
The what?
Did you hear about that?
Like Dan Schneider and all that?
Yeah, did you hear about that at all, Chuck? So during the 90s, basically, when Nickelodeon was on fire with all these live action TV shows, the guy who was running everything at Nickelodeon was basically...
Yes. All right, yes, I did hear about this, yes.
Yeah, anyway, he was really into feet as like one of his things and stuff like that. And so he would always make sure there was like feet scenes in the Nickelodeon episodes.
Because he could show feet. That was the body part he was allowed to show.
Well, like when Twitter was brand new, he had a contest where like show me your foot, kids. And like kids were sending pictures of their feet to him on Twitter.
And literally then for a while, like Nickelodeon's like logo was a foot.
Yeah.
Like it was literally like a footprint with the Nickelodeon words inside of it.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
That's terrible. But yeah, like with foot finishes, you decided that the foot's the sort of sexiest part of the body over everything.
That is why I actually think foot fetishes are way more gross than people realize, because it's basically like taking this extremely normal, non-sexualized part of the body and sexualizing it. And it's just like, I feel like that is such an issue in today's society where we're just sexualizing things that don't need to be sexualized for no reason.
What's interesting about foot fetishes is that they've done studies on them and stuff, and they do get sexual arousal from feet, right? Like the parts of their brain that get aroused from sexual like imagery and stuff get aroused from feet, but like breasts and butts and other things that would normally arouse people do not activate those areas as much as the feet do in those brains.
So they literally have to be like
that much different from a hand, and it's a very neglected part of the body.
It's like it's just what they're into. It's just the body part that they like.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, if it's two consenting adults, who cares? But
yeah, exactly. I wouldn't worry about it, Sam. Yeah, just.
I think me personally, that is why it perplexes me the most.
It's like really being so into elbows, Sam. It's like being, it's like, oh man, her collarbones, they just drive me crazy, right?
It's like the whole dress code stuff where it's like, oh, you got to cover those shoulders. Those shoulders, they're going to get those little kids all riled up.
I know what I would talk about then, like with Am here. Robert California. Because you were quite
God.
California.
Well, yeah, that's actually so funny because we just watched the episode where he like interviews for the job. Me and Kiara.
The Office, right, Amber, with James Spader when he comes on as Robert California.
Yeah. So
and his philosophy. Well, we're watching the like super fan episodes. They call them.
Yeah.
It's like they basically put in all of the like. They put in all the stuff they cut out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'd love to see that actually. I'd like to watch that.
Yeah, you should. They have some of the episodes are like an hour long. Like there's 30 minutes of cut content.
Oh wow. Oh yeah, I'd love to see those. Yeah.
Yeah, the my favorite James Spader role ever, and I mean he's had a lot, is Stargate as Daniel. I like his Daniel. I just thought that he was a likable character, and he's goofy and.
Oh yeah, that was so different. Suddenly he was playing a likable nerd after like, playing sort of malevolent sex pests.
Hey, he was also good in Wolf.
Wolf.
Yeah, haven't you ever seen Wolf with Jack Nicholson and Michelle Pfeiffer?
That Jack Nicholson. Oh yeah, that wasn't very good though. I used to like werewolves.
I liked it.
All the werewolves movies lately have been crap.
Well, Wolf wasn't terrible. It was.
I remember a lot of people liked it. Maybe I should give it another go. I didn't really care for it at the time. I never saw it again.
Yeah, well, give it another shot. It wasn't bad.
I'll give it another go. All right.
Yeah. Michelle Pfeiffer was hot in that movie. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, and what I like about it,
I might need a little longer.
No, I'm definitely going to need longer. I think because I'm here, unless we're just going to pick up where we left off on each other's robots. I guess.
Well, we can do that too. Yeah, maybe we can sort of deliberately swap. I haven't got very far on mine. I want to finish. I want to finish my figure. Let's try. Yeah, let's hurry. We're about the same. We'll get there.
Because I got this far. I kind of want to finish my robot.
Yeah.
Because I had a cool design in my head, but at the same time, you're like, "Hey, let's switch back and forth," and then you change the design, and it ends up kind of cool.
Finish our main figure. Yeah.
You want to finish the main figure?
It's not time to swap yet anyway. We'll keep going for another sort of 10 minutes or so, and then.
Yeah, I'm not going to finish in 10 minutes. I know that.
All right, you're doing pretty good. You're zooming along.
No, I'm getting into the Wally Wood tech stuff in mine. All
right, we've got a bit of time.
Yeah. Like I'm getting into the Wally Wood tech stuff in mind, so we got to get to lots of wires, plug in stuff.
Okay, wait, I'm doing this one.
And then, yeah.
This sort of thing is tricky to draw. What I'm doing now, I'm putting my hand through the hair. I'm drawing it a bit, so. I'm using my memory here, like of all the things that I've been drawing, the model drawing I've been doing lately.
Let's see. Yeah. I'm like, oh, I kind of like my robot, and then I look at the time. I'm like, crap.
Exactly. No, that's the whole point. You zoom out. I remember when I used to paint models. I used to think, well, it'd be really good if you could blow them up the size of the actual thing and shrink them down. Then they'd have really good detail. I used to love to make like little plastic model kits at one point. I don't know, when I was a kid. But I don't really see those now. I mean, kids probably don't really do that much anymore, do they? Like you make little planes and tanks and things.
They still have those, but I see older gentlemen putting those kits together.
Yeah.
For the most part,
I could be quite happy, and I used to know some adults even back then that did it, and I was always very fascinated.
There's one model kit.
I'm playing D&D, so that's a nice hobby.
Let's see, artist designed.
I got more into painting D&D figures. I guess it sort of turned into for me. But I like the thing of making the kits, but then you'd sort of see these people that did really amazing ones, and I'd be like, the amount of time and effort that they put in, it's amazing. But all right, that's what humans do, I guess. That's a nice hobby.
Give me a second. I'm trying to find creature head. Yeah, there we go. This right here, if you look at my screen, Millicent Patrick was the woman who designed the creature from the Black Lagoon.
Oh yes, all right. I was reading about her recently. Like she
Oh.
was sort of like as one of those sort of people who wasn't really well known until more recently. It seems like.
Yeah, and anyway, as like a girl, I have sought out girl role models in fields that I like, and so Millicent Patrick is one of those. Lucille Ball is another one. Lauren Bacall and all these women in Hollywood that did like awesome things and stuff.
Oh,
Anyway,
Amber, you're so woke.
I am so woke. Anyway, I think it's important to know when women have done cool things and like whenever Ian's like women haven't done anything, I'm like, aha. Millicent Patrick designed Gilman in
women. How about women gave birth to every single person?
Yeah, well, you know what I mean. Anyway, so this is a model that I want to save up for. This is like a $300 model that you have to paint yourself, and it's her with the Gilman
okay, like a paint yourself kit. Like, those were more bigger here. Those monster kits.
Yeah, exactly. And so this is like one of those. You can see it up on the screen of her with the thing. And so one of my
car kits, the crazy cars. We'd get some of those. Like I would always want to get those. The what do you call it, Rat Fink or whatever. Like those little crazy car guys.
Yeah, the crazy car guys. But yeah, so that was a model that one of my former instructors from MCAD, who is like my inking instructor, he loves building models in his retirement. And so he had picked up that just for his collection. And it's one that I keep thinking about. So I must really want it. And so I think that that's one that I'm going to save up for eventually. But right now I'm taking my not really extra money, but a little bit of extra money. And I am paying for a puppet rebuild so that I can keep my sanity over the next 4 years.
The return of Sebastian Pennyworth III.
The return of Sebastian Pennyworth III. He like, I don't remember all of his policies, but I remember asteroid mining was a big one, that there's gold and then there are rocks, and it's all the minerals we could ever need. And then, you just create.
I've got a good one for him. There's a mile deep layer of diamond around the surface of the planet Mercury.
Exactly. See, this is why you need to be in a speech writing cabinet. Anyway,
you've got to use these like real facts like that.
Yeah, exactly. And so the fact that it's like also on
how that would play into the economy, like you can figure out the numbers, like for Elon.
I mean, as long as only one person could, like, if you're like, okay, there's one company that's going to get access to this diamond planet, it's like that company would become really rich. But as soon as any other company, like, as soon as multiple people get access to it, then it's going to start really ruining the economy.
But okay, Sam.
Planet of diamond that he gets.
Sam, who has access to rockets?
Elon Musk.
Who's going to have access to the diamond planet?
Elon Musk.
This is turning into a plan to swindle Donald Trump and Elon Musk out of all their money.
So you think the average Joe is going to have access to the diamond planet, or do you think the average Joe is going to be paid by the guy who has access to the rockets, send him there and pay him pennies to mine the diamonds and send it back to the guy that grew up with a dad who owned an emerald mine?
Oh, definitely.
He knows how to do it.
Definitely the latter.
Yeah, that's my point.
I'm not saying that the diamond mine is going to be ethical. I'm just saying it will immediately ruin the economy. It'll just slowly ruin the economy.
But these diamonds have become very cheap. I mean, diamonds are already sort of cheap though, because we can grow our own diamonds now. So
here's
they're actually better quality than mined ones. So
here's the thing too, okay, is since we're talking facts, since we're talking facts, diamonds are more prevalent on Earth than rubies, emeralds.
Most of the value of diamonds is completely artificial.
It's completely artificial. It's created by the De Beers company.
Yeah.
And I mean, Blood
That was a shocking
Diamond.
one. Yes, watching that movie, they did a PBS thing, I think with Martin Short, all about De Beers, you know, and the guy that founded all that, and that was all like, oh my god, that was an eye-opening one. You're like, okay,
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
that guy
Like,
was an asshole.
yeah, no. If they didn't mine enough, he would cut off arms.
Gee.
Okay, if they
Well, that's
didn't
why they're
mine
called
enough,
blood diamonds, I
and here's the
guess.
thing, okay? If they didn't mine enough, he would cut off legs, but he would leave them with their dominant arms so they could still mine. Okay? He was an awful person.
Yeah.
Awful person. Yeah. 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 Give him rockets.
Yeah. Yes,
Give him rockets. Give him access to the diamond planet. Yeah. Oh man.
Yes.
You can tell I'm just
These days, we're
excited
making
about the
president.
next 4 years.
Oh, it's going to be great. I mean, last time we had Trump where he couldn't really do anything, except now he has control of the House, Senate, majority of the Supreme Court, and there's a bill that was passed that says anything the president does can be considered illegal. It's going to be so fun.
Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly. So, the people that voted for him are the ones who are going to suffer the most at the end of the day. That's all right. I have faith that that's going to be what happens.
Yeah. Well, and here's another thing too, okay? Is COVID really limited Trump's damage?
Yeah.
COVID forced him to like president a little,
Yeah,
right? You know,
at
I mean,
least a little.
he didn't do a good job at it, but it forced him to like focus on something other than destroying democracy.
Yeah.
Well, I was just remembering also all the people that were on the stage with him when he came up the first time. I remember Omarosa being up there having watched The Apprentice. So she could look a bit like Michelle Obama. She was gone in a minute. And I also remembered how smiley Mike Pence was. He was so happy and smiley that day. Like he looked like that cat who got the cream. And then he came on NPR every time Trump was doing something really horrible. Mike Pence came on and gave him a full-throated support. You know, not absolutely Trump's attack dog all down the line. A number of afternoons I spent yelling at the radio at Mike Pence, going, "I hate you, fucking Mike Pence." Mm-hmm. And then what do everyone do at the end? They're all hang Mike Pence. Hang Mike Pence. So good luck. Good luck to everybody who thinks they're going to have a good time.
No, they think they can control him. You know, the people.
No, they can't anymore. They thought last time they could. This time he knows better. He's got like, you know, he learned from last time. That's the trouble. He's like, we'll see, but I think he's going to be way worse. He's going to be more political. He's understand the politics. He's probably not going to. I don't know. He's going to annoy people, but he's going to be worse.
Yeah, lucky us.
Oh, we got Ahoyo back in the chat. Wow, what a loyal viewer. Thanks for coming back.
I am not seeing anything in chat. I see the last one that I saw was like restream messages from audience will display here.
Oh, Dale's here, yeah.
Yeah, I don't see any of messages from chat on my end, so. Yeah, but then again, I am not Sam. I am not in the booth. I'm not Studio Monkey.
We're doing all right, Ahoyo. We're just talking about possible end of democracy. Nothing too crazy.
Oh yeah, just the destruction of all things, Yeah. Okay, so Ian has a frat brother, hardcore Republican, who back in 2016, another frat brother had a wedding, and we were talking politics and stuff back then, and again, civil discourse, kind of friendly jabs at each other, but they were hardcore Trump supporters, and Ian and I were like, yay Clinton, kind of thing, like back in 2016. So this time around, it's the same thing, where we're like going like, hey, I hope Harris wins. And so she doesn't win. And, I post something along the lines of like the fact that my friends are making bug out bags in case they have to like go to Canada or whatever, because they're trans. Others whose parents and grandparents, came here illegally a long time, and they've been here for like 50 years, like the grandparents, and it's like they've paid taxes all this time. They've, they're integrated into the society. They've learned English. They've had jobs, right? Like these people they're Americans, I mean, my grandparents that came over through Ellis Island created the paperwork, right? And yeah, hi, bye, says Dale. Oh yeah, just your normal everyday conversation. So just related to the election. Yeah, but Ellis Island created the paperwork, right? It created the paper trail. And prior to that, they're like, we can't just have all these, Italians coming over. We can't have all these Irish coming over. We need to have an immigration process, right? So they created this paperwork. And then that created the illegal immigrant, right? And then they, the conservative views since the 19 aughts has been, to get rid of the illegal immigrant, right? And but the thing is, prior to that, there was no illegal immigrant. You just came over. You were just an immigrant. Well, you just did it.
I'm surprised that they're not doing anything about the massive voter fraud that they said was going to occur.
Oh yeah. No, because that would admit that, like, there was no massive voter fraud, unless there really was. Like there was a lot of like.
If there was, I know where it was coming from.
Yeah, exactly. And then of course they don't want to investigate it, Because then again,
oh
that would
my
be
god! All right, okay.
Yeah, why would they investigate it if it benefits them? I mean, why? That makes no sense. It's not like they have morals or anything.
Yeah.
It's not like they pretend to be, oh, we're the moral, upstanding party that actually cares about, what's good and right.
Yeah, the law party. Yeah, we wouldn't want the party of
George
law
Harrison
and justice.
started the Natural Law Party in England. That was good. They were going to replace the government. He put on a long, 10-minute infomercial one year about how they were going to replace the British government with Vedic flyers, who were these sort of guys who sat cross-legged in robes, and then they bounced across the floor.
Well, I think Ahoyo's trying to steer us away from politics. They're saying they're asking what characters we're drawing today. So why don't we tell them?
We're not a political show. We don't talk about
politics. At least my blood pressure's Yeah.
I'm drawing. Well, what we're going to do? We've been doing a drawing, and we're about to swap over now. I think we have to swap over. We don't have enough time.
I don't know. Let's see. It's 12:08. I'm actually very close to a swap over, I think.
Well, I know. I wanted us to take our time. I did say we'll take our time. I didn't think that's nice.
Yeah.
You've also got to finish the picture.
Yeah. Yeah. So we'll do this.
So I'm doing a heavy metal fembot here.
And I'll give
I haven't given her a name. View answers in the comments, please.
There we go. Okay. So.
All right, I'm going to save this now onto my dry band. Okay, you've done it. You've done yours. That's great. I'm going to turn off my layer, and then I'm going to go group that, and I'll put it in the.
All right, and do you want me to save it as a JPEG, PSD, what?
We'll do it as a PSD, so I guess your stuff's still on the layer. Probably a good idea.
Okay, yeah. I just want to know. Okay, this is going to go in rando. Or no, I think I have an Urfspace comic file. Comics? Earth art. Yeah. I do. Look at that.
Urfspace Live.
I'll call it Art Swap 001. All right.
Oh yeah, what's today? 11. Ooh. Wait, it's 11:09 on 11:09.
I guess.
Oh yeah.
All right.
All right.
Okay. How do I upload to this folder? File upload. There I go. Here I go.
Close. All right, close.
Comics.
So it's live drive. Right, yes. So what we're doing here is we're swapping our files on the Google Drive. And
There you go. All right. I will grab yours in just a minute. Yeah. Ta-da!
All right. This is where we should sort of play some music or have a segment.
Okay. Yeah, we can do that.
Should I play a video?
Yeah, while we do the swap and the setup so that people don't see our techie-ness.
All right. 3, 2, 1, boom.
Urfspace Beyond, into the Radlands. Available now on Urfspace.com. Proudly presenting the original Urfspace.
Proudly presents A Star and the Space Princess and Other Stories by Robert L. McCarthy. Available now on Urfspace.com.
Hi.
All right, very good.
Are we still
I didn't get the file yet.
going?
But now it's here.
Okay.
Well, I accidentally uploaded it into the folder above the folder you made, and so then I just uploaded it.
Okay, I'm going to play one more video clip.
Yay. There we go.
Oh, I love your
So,
robot.
yeah.
That's great. Yes.
I guess
Right,
it's
very
technically a cyborg because it has a human brain with an optic nerve connection to the
Technically.
eyes. Technically, cyborg, I guess. I don't know. Maybe it's a artificially grown brain. Who knows?
Lab-grown brain.
A lab grown brain.
Yes, I remember I had some sort of idea about where like brains floating in jars in like early pupil, which I don't. That's more in my retired material, but yeah, I like it. All right, now I've got to do some sort of background here, or color it in, or something. All right, and we've got.
What you think we should just color them in? No, I thought we were gonna like add to the drawing.
Yeah, well, yeah, we should add. Yeah, we're going to add like a background, and do whatever we can to finish off the picture.
Well, yeah, I think it's just do whatever you think is best to finish off the picture. Not really any specific rules.
Next time we can think about themes and formats. This time we're just sort of like, okay, let's just go.
So this time was the tech check.
Yeah, the entire.
The tech check.
Thanks for coming back.
More like how you could do it like this. I quite like the idea of it though.
And I just want to say thanks for coming back every week, Ahoyo. We appreciate our loyal viewers. And let us know if there's any specific things you want to see. Perhaps we can try and make that happen.
Yeah.
Yes,
How come
yes,
you don't
yes.
have
Character,
Dale drawn
whatever,
on
yes,
the
all
show?
right, yes, exactly.
How come you don't have Dale drawn on the show? He can draw.
I don't know really. We sort of talked about it. He seems to be more happy just sitting there, but yeah, he does. I think he would like to draw. So I mean, yeah, he should just draw. Oh, hello.
What, you like that? Like where I'm going with that?
Yeah, I like that. Well, this is what I was saying about when I was on went to the art battle final. There was a girl there, and she did this picture. It was like she was quite an accomplished painter. And she did a nice one with sort of two fingers doing lightning in the first one, and this was in the final.
Yeah.
And she's the one that won the whole final of the national final of art battle. And her final picture was a girl sort of kneeling there, reaching up towards a sort of lightning ball with her, boobs out. And really in the final painting, the most detailed bit that she painted was the boobs.
Of course.
I was like, well, I'm pretty sure if I'd gone up and done that, people would have been a bit unhappy with it. But because she was a hot girl, everyone didn't mind. Maybe I'm wrong about that. I don't know. Maybe that's just in my head.
Oh,
I don't know. What do you think, Amber?
I think
when a hot girl draws another hot girl, she's drawing her truth. When a guy draws a hot girl, he's, sexualizing the female form or whatever.
I think I just got mansplained over by your son.
You did.
Because I was asked my opinion, and it was filled in by your son's opinion of what he thought I was going to say.
Well, here's the difference. I'm going to let you say your piece.
Yeah. So I'm just like there, but no. What it is it's I don't think that women are against like sexy women or anything like that. I think when a woman draws a sexy woman, it's just the same reason why a man draws a sexy woman. It's something that is appealing to look at, right? Since the history of art, sexy women have been part of the history of art, right? And we've had male sculptors, we've had female sculptors, we had male painters, we've had female painters, right? The men have always taken that time of the breasts or whatever with, Peter Paul Rubens. If you want to spot a Peter Paul Rubens, just type in
Rubens. He's my artistic hero.
Yeah.
He got a lot
he loves his butts, right? And the thing is he wasn't considered a pervert in his day for taking time with butts. That's just what you did with art, right? It's just that we're in a day today where we're very sensitive to people's attentions to things, right? And they're going like, maybe you're taking too much attention on this or whatever. And like you noticed that she took a lot of detail on those breasts, right? But did anybody else?
Because that's what I would have done when I was like her age.
Or focusing on, right? So that's my 2 cents. Is that I think it's not as big a deal as people are trying to make it to be, because it's kind of always been there, right? Is like, there's always been sexy girls in art.
Well, yeah, Donna Barr says that women only have breasts because men bred them to be milking machines.
Not.
Which I don't know the truth to it, but I don't know about that.
Maybe I don't even want to draw a fembot anymore.
No, but look, I got this. Look, this was for Urfspace Heroes.
Yeah.
So I feel like I succeeded in not doing something that's offensive to people. But also still being kind of a bit sexy. I don't know, it's not too much. It's a bit, I don't know. It's just me having fun. I don't know what's.
Well, I mean, your Insta girls is sexy without being exploitative or exploitive.
Yeah, also those also very popular too, yes.
Yeah, exactly. It's sexy without being exploitive. It's feminine without being like hyper feminine, right? It has a punk quality to it. And I think that that's something that both men and women respond to if we're talking about marketing and, demographics and other kind of art business
We've also
talk.
been leaning a bit into the sort of transgenderiness of them. Like if they come out like sort of more masculine looking or whatever, I don't really mind because I'm masculine somewhat.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think it's like a sort of more of a masculine feminine thing. It's a feminine sense.
Yeah.
I was thinking like all this stuff like Pufo was quite sort of masculine all the time, and all the Goodman Games stuff was very masculine. And it's not like I've never done this. I've sort of done it a lot. I had found things I did in the past, but I don't know. It's just exploring a different side of things that I hadn't done so much of. So
yeah.
I think masculine and feminine is a better way to talk about it generally.
I'm trying to remember
French
what
doing with their language. Everything going on because in France everything's he or she.
I'll say robot.
Well, maybe they do it more easily.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm trying to find reference for.
I know, you've heard it all before.
What I'm doing. Well, it's less that I've heard it all before, more just that I'm.
Well, you have.
Yeah, I've heard a lot.
Well, I mean, just for me on our shows over the years.
Oh yeah. You know, it's just I don't know, like with everything that happened. I know we're not going to dip too much into politics, but with everything that happened,
we're not. It's not a political show, and we agree anything. So we really just be saying the same thing.
Yeah.
But if Facebook gets involved, it'll find the one thing we don't agree on. The one thing we don't agree on is Amber thinks communism will. I think communism will get corrupted by psychopaths. That's the major disagreement.
And again, if you look historically, true communism has never been implemented. No. Okay, you're right.
They always get corrupted.
It's always been an oligarchy in charge of the party.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And that is not
corruption.
There's also the thing where, I mean, you know, a lot of people like to. There's people who will say this, and then there's people that say that people who say this are stupid. But I think it's pretty true. Like almost every time communism was attempted, the American government was doing everything they could to make it fail.
Oh, absolutely.
That's another good point. All right.
Yeah, because of the capitalists in the United States would lose power in the world stage if communism was successful elsewhere in the world. Because the thing is if communist is successful, then that means that the labor has power. Okay, the large majority of people have power and not the small minority. So the small minority pays for the wars to go after the communists to kill communism so that they can keep their oligarchy.
Maybe the AI can do it. Maybe the AI can bring about some sort of beneficial communism.
Well, what I think the real problem with communism is, in my opinion, is that it's like, so basically in capitalism, money is power. Right. Yeah. But also there's like, you know, government power and being like socially influential. So there's kind of like multiple ways to have influence upon the world. Yeah. In a communist society, it's basically only just like social or political influence. So that basically just removes like, okay, yeah, it's really annoying that rich people have so much power in a capitalist society, but it's better than like only the government having power, in my opinion.
We do have the mechanism,
I see what you're
to tax them. That's
I see what you're getting to that.
Without the psychopaths, anybody could have any system and it wouldn't matter. But the
your dad's always going back to the psychopaths. But
they're the corruptors. They're the corruptors. They're the 1 person in 100 that's going to corrupt your system.
So you're right that the power needs to be redistributed amongst people more than just outside the government, right? That's where unions come in. Okay.
Yes.
If you have labor unions and you have guilds,
that's the problem. The unions get so corrupted.
It's the same argument you keep making, and you're not building upon your argument with examples.
It's the same thing that always happens. But all right, I shouldn't have brought it up, okay, because this is the one thing we disagree on, and I brought it up.
Yes, and the thing is it's the same argument, and I keep wrapping more stuff around my argument, and you keep saying, but this argument. And
that's because you've yet to find a solution to it, Amber. It's because you've yet to find. Nobody's found a solution to it. The problem is that there is no solution to it unless we find a way to euthanize every psychopath. But I don't think that's going to happen.
euthanize every psychopath. But again, I'm talking about, like he says, oh, it's going to be corrupted. And I'm like, again, the examples that we've had have not been true communism, right? Because it has been a small group of people, the psychopaths, taking
They're not a small
charge
group,
of
they're
everything.
a massive group. They're a massive
But-
group. They're one
but-
person in 100. So that means in billions of people
Can
on the
I
planet,
finish a thought,
that's like
Chuck?
hundreds of millions of psychopaths, thousands of millions of psychopaths.
I can't finish a thought, apparently.
No. Welcome to the Whelan's household.
What I'm getting at is that if you have labor unions and you have guilds and you have societies and you have the like that are groups of collected interest all working together, and you kind of do it like a tournament style, you know, where it's like, okay, here's all the artists that kind of talk, and then there's larger groups of artists, and you know, it goes on from there, and then you have your representative that are representing the artists with the larger council, right? And so they have heard everything from the below, from the artists guild, from the comics guilds, from the inkers guilds, from the potters guilds, you know, from all these different guilds to be able to take it up to a larger council. This is Plato's Republic, if you have read the book.
Yeah, well, you were going to tell me about Plato today. So
Yes,
Plato suggests doing everything with guilds, like we used to do in the Middle Ages.
So yes, and so Plato laid out the fact that you would have labor guilds and stuff. And so during the Renaissance, one of the reasons why it was called the Renaissance is because that means rebirth, is they had rediscovered classical literature after the Dark Ages, you know, where Christianity basically said, no, you can't read anything, right? And they rediscovered classical literature, including Plato's Republic. And so you had people that were like glassmakers, you had stained glass makers, you had brick makers, you had artisans, you had, you know, goldsmiths, you had all of these various people that after the Black Plague, after populations dropped, suddenly their labor was worth more than it was worth when they were just serfs and there were so many of them and they're all dying, you know, from the Black Plague, right? They're worth more, which meant that they had a voice now in society. And you have them reading, you have them rediscovering these texts and going, hey, let's try this guild idea that Plato came up with. And so they did. They came up with artist guilds, and for the first time, you had the royalty of Europe having to deal with the little guy, because suddenly, you know, their churches weren't gonna get the leaded glass windows that they needed,
But
because
aren't you
the leaded
basically
glass
just
makers weren't
describing
being paid enough.
capitalism? Aren't you just describing how the mercantile took over from the kingly
No,
sort of system
it's not
and led to
capitalism.
what we have today?
No, it's not capitalism, because during the Renaissance, there was the equivalent of a universal health care where everybody was fed. Everybody was taken care of. You could go to, you know, down to the you know, basically like the witch doctor, for lack of a better term, you know, and get taken care of and stuff. And like the king would take care of you for that, right? There are city-states that would have the mayors. We're talking like 1400s, you know, 1400s, late 13, early 1400s. We're talking at the start of like the artist guilds, around the Borgias being a pope.
Okay,
the
Italian
Borgia
Renaissance.
pope. Yeah. And so why are you Googling it?
No, I'm doing my work here.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I got so talky.
I'm not sure that
I got so talky. I was like, oh, I don't know. But my point being is that Plato's ideas were so revolutionary in the time of the Renaissance that it shook everything up, and it created the beginnings of capitalism in the Renaissance that didn't exist prior to the Renaissance, because prior to that we had feudalism. Right. And so it was like suddenly they had to scratch their head and go like, oh my gosh, like now I have to talk with these bricklayers about the fact that they don't have food. What? Right. And then the king would have to send one of his viceroys down there to actually talk to the bricklayers about the fact that they don't have food and they need more food. Right. And so, yeah, it's amazing. The Renaissance, very fascinating time. Very, very interesting. And so the idea of the union, of the guild, stayed with us all the way until the populist movement of the the first one I'd say about 1880s, 1890s, and then the second populist movement about the 1920s, 1930s. There was a mini one during just prior World War One-ish, but that one was kind of crushed in America. But we got great government housing out of it in Austria, and 60% of all housing in Austria is government housing, and like the majority of people are in government housing in Austria, and it's like awesome. It's not like here where only the poor get it, and it's like decrepit, worst conditions possible. Austrian public housing is like, it's open to the poorest and the middle class. So it's only like the richest of the rich that like pay for their own housing. That's like private housing.
Yeah,
that has like all the bells and whistles.
This is true. Yeah. Americans would be very unhappy with those houses, I think.
Yeah.
Yes, generally.
I mean, I don't.
They have better. They're better looked after by the government, but they have less personal wealth.
Yeah, that's true. I realize I stopped drawing this fembot because I got all lectury about.
Well, I didn't want you to lecture. I didn't want you to tell me a bit about Plato. So
yeah.
You're right. I haven't read Plato, and you've been on.
Yes.
You need to read Plato. I'm not disagreeing with what you're saying, but I think you have to also acknowledge what I'm saying is that it is very fundamental to why systems don't work.
Well, the thing is Plato acknowledges that. He says that there are people that will take any system and try and corrupt it, which is why
what does he say about that? Yes, because that's what I'm getting at.
He created the idea of elections, and you have to understand that this is way back in ancient Greece where they didn't have elections. It was like only the people who like owned land got to like choose what was going on, and then people who didn't own land that worked the land were like didn't have any choice, right? So the fact that he said that you have people campaign for what they're going to do within a limited period of time, and then at that time you have everybody decide who they're going to have do the thing that they say they're going to do, and then you have this limited period of time. You don't have lifetime appointments or anything like that. So Plato invented the election. Okay. So that was his answer to the psychopaths. Now, what's happened in the United States, and the reason why the psychopaths have taken over, is because they've played the long game. The Republicans have since Reagan, actually since before Reagan.
Since they realized they weren't getting anywhere as skinhead Nazis, and they decided they needed to grow their hair a bit and put on ties.
Well,
that's what happened. There's a guy on the radio on the NPR with Terry Gross, and he was basically saying he'd been in this movement, and they have been working since the 80s. He said to overtake the system, and they've started from the bottom up. They went bottom up. Local governments, school boards, working way up to their final victory. They're like, okay, so now America's got what it wanted, and it's going to have a lot of fun with that. It's going to really work out great. I feel fairly confident in California. We're a big, powerful country on our own. You don't need to leave the United States, because the United States is just going to sort of fall apart around you. And, part of what they want to do, like back from the Tea Party, is like push everything back to the States. I don't know if that was just about abortion or bullshit, but
no.
I mean, it's basically a power grab.
The states thing
whether Trump is definitely the figurehead of this movement, but he's not the inventor of it.
No, he's not the inventor at all. No, he is.
They've ridden.
You're right. He's the figurehead. He's up problem as well. He is up on a pedestal right now, waving his hands and being the distraction and stuff. While there's a bunch of people in the shadows doing scary stuff with 2025.
But it's painfully obvious he's going to send inflation through the roof. I mean, if you don't think that inflation is going to go crazy now that he's in charge, but all right. Everything he suggested in his policies is going to make inflation worse.
That's why I'm going to keep my sanity by losing the sanity of a puppet.
Sorry, I'm just laughing because it's all right. Well, I got a nice day today going to the Peanuts Museum.
Ooh.
With the National Cartoonist Society, our local group. Andrew and others arranged it. Lemon's going to give me a ride.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, when I stopped in and I said hi to Andrew, I don't think he had any idea who I was.
Oh, dear,
Yeah.
oh dear.
Yeah, it's okay. You know, I mean, he knows everybody in comics. It's hard to remember everybody. But yeah, he's a busy guy. Plus, he's been like knee deep in turtles for how long?
Oh yeah, well he's done this quite a few books. He started off with the first one I think he did was that I remember was Looney Tunes, which I remember he had particularly interesting. He might have done a Hanna-Barbera one. I'm not sure if he has or not.
He did a Batman book.
He did the Batman one and then the Turtle one, yeah.
Yeah.
I can't remember if he
Yeah.
I don't think that he definitely did Looney Tunes. I used to like Hanna-Barbera a lot. We had a lot of those growing up. They were deemed suitable. It's funny what things were deemed suitable and something. So Hanna-Barbera and Scooby-Doo, that was definitely, they had some deal. They were deemed suitable.
Yeah.
It was more restrictive in England what we were allowed.
You know, it's interesting because England is cool with sex on TV, but like, or I'm sorry, yeah, no, they're cool with violence, or no, I'm sorry, they're cool with sex on TV, but not with violence, right?
Yeah, we get more sex and less violence.
Yeah, and then America is cool with violence, but not sex, right? So Canada gets both.
But Britain's not that cool with sex. Britain's not that cool with sex either.
Yeah, but Canada has all the violence, all the sex on TV. You know, and I mean, like, I saw the original Wicker Man on the kids channel at 3:00 in the afternoon. It just had warnings for it, but they knew their audience was teenage boys. They knew it. You know, like, they were not hiding.
Just kind of just all full of people from the Wicker Man anyway, isn't that? Well, Robbie's not here to defend it. I'll have to ask her that question.
Yeah.
What was? Oh yeah, they had a little. This movie I watched last night actually had a little. She had a little. There was a little bit of Wicker Man in there. I felt it. You know, there were sort of some of the like local people on the island when they got there that were sort of looking at them and like, oh, these are like Wicker Man villagers. You know.
Yeah.
I think she saw it.
Yeah,
I was quite impressed with Zoe Kravitz for that actually.
Well, I mean, I was always impressed with her acting. She was really good in High Fidelity.
Oh yeah, okay. I forgot that was a long time ago.
Yeah.
I didn't remember her from that. Yeah. I guess from Mad Max, I came aware of her.
Oh, she's the girl who sings the Peter Frampton song that he ends up sleeping with in the middle of the movie, and then he realizes he's the one night stand, right? He thinks that it's a relationship, right? And then he realizes it's not. Like, she just used him and then she's going about her life. And he goes, oh, okay. Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah. You've seen High Fidelity, right?
It's been a really long time since I saw it. I mean, I saw it more or less when it came out.
The books
I like how your girl's coming out there. That's good.
The book's message is different than the movie's message, but it's the same story. And so in the book, Nick Hornby talks about how his character's philosophy is that it's not what you're like, it's what you like that makes you as a person, right? And then by the end of the book, he realizes that it's really what you're like and not what you like that makes you as a person, right? And you could be into really shitty things, but if you're a nice person, you know, it doesn't matter if you like Madonna, right? If you're a nice person, you're still cool, right? And so, so that was his lesson.
Still be a nice person.
Yeah, but that was his lesson in the book, right? In the movie, it's the same story, but he goes through this journey where he realizes that he is the source of his own problems in his life, and nothing has matured or grown in his life because he himself has gotten in his own way. And so he decides to get out of his own way and just kind of like do the things that he always wanted to do. And he finds happiness in his life that he never realized he could find before because he was getting in his own way. So it's a completely different message than the book, but they're both really good. And it's the same story. It's bizarre. If you study screenwriting, it's interesting to study it as an adaptation of the book and see how they changed that message, but they still stayed true to his writing. You know, Train Spotting works like that too, as an adaptation, in the fact that the message in the book is very different than the message in the movie. But I don't know.
Well, that'll happen.
What, you don't like Train Spotting? I love Danny Boyle. I think he's amazing.
All right, so I'm going to add a quick color layer on here. I've got time for it.
Do that. Kind of give her these, like, I don't know, I guess like elbow pad things.
All right.
Yeah, I've been talking more than I've been.
Well, you've been ambersplaining. It's not mansplaining. It's ambersplaining.
No, I didn't mean to, you know, to like on Sam, but he did do it. Right. He did do it, and I had to call him out on it.
Yeah, it's like I say, it's a lot of competitive mansplaining.
Amber, don't worry. I interrupt everybody, not just women.
I know.
It's all right. He gets it from me. It's my fault.
I understand, because you do have your father as your father, so you have to get in where you can talk. I understand.
Yeah. I think it is definitely that, because as soon as somebody does like it actually happens with my girlfriend too. Like she'll sort of do a slight pause where I think she's done, so I'll start talking. She's like, I wasn't really done talking. I'm like, sorry. I'm just so used to, like, if there's any like 0.5 millisecond break in the sentence, I need to like get something in.
Sam, I'll teach you a trick, okay? Because I have a hard time interrupting people, right? And so because I've been doing my own show and stuff, I went back to one of my interview books to read through it, and like, you know, how do you construct questions to get good answers out of people? You know, how do you how do you build a story out of people's answers when you're editing later on, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, it said to prevent yourself from interrupting people, give yourself 3 breaths to make sure the person has stopped talking. So what you do is like, you know, you take a breath in, you take a breath out, you take a breath in, you take a breath out, you take a breath in. If it's still quiet, it is a pause. Okay. And then you can ask your question or interject or whatever without interrupting the other person. Otherwise they might just be taking a breath for hi beep beep. Yes. And so yes, otherwise you might be doing this. So that's
yeah. All right. Well, I'll give that a shot.
All right. No, but again, I was doing the same thing on Philo, and so I was like, okay, what do I do? And again, I'm looking through this book, and it's like, how not to interrupt your guest. I'm doing pretty good, Meep Beep. So, see, now he's taking the pauses.
Now nobody wants to say anything.
Yeah, now no one wants to say anything.
Yeah, it's complicated. I don't know. Yes, I mean, well.
Okay, but Dad does this thing where he will, like, you know, say something for like kind of long-winded, like 3 sentences, and then he'll make a pause, and then I'll start talking, and then as soon as I start talking, he starts talking again at like full vibrato, and I'm like, okay, I guess you weren't done.
Yes, I could see that. No, your father is why the ellipse exists in English punctuation.
Look, yeah. Well, as a parent, you have more information to impart. I'm just saying.
I know. I'll probably over talk.
I know. Yeah, you should. You got to listen to your kids. Very important.
No, you're pretty good. You're good. You, even if sometimes you interrupt, and I don't know. I really feel like I've not met anybody else who does that whole like pausing and starting thing like you.
Well, he has to get his
but you're good at listening. You do listen. Like when you listen, you listen.
It's hard to listen. You have to actually engage your brain in listening. It's quite difficult.
Well, yeah, there's listening and then there's letting someone talk. It's like sometimes when you're just letting somebody talk, they'll ask you the question about what they said 5 minutes later.
Yeah, what do you think?
See, I'm a bit deaf. Well,
I don't know.
I do have to pretend to listen to someone because I'm so deaf. Yeah. All right.
That's crazy.
But also, I'm getting a bit better at saying, sorry, I interrupted you. Please continue.
Yeah, that's a good one too. Let's see. Other ways that you can prevent yourself from interrupting people is there's a way of signaling that you're ready to ask a question. And again, this book was written in like 1985 that I'm reading about how to do news interviews. And so they're saying that what you do when you're ready to ask another question and like the person is continuing on the same one is you take your papers and you shuffle them. Right. Okay. And so they know that you're ready to ask the next question. So I'm trying to figure out how to shuffle my papers digitally.
Yeah, my friend who's a lawyer, she says they do the thing where they bring their glasses down and look over their nose.
Yeah.
There's sort of certain little things that you can do.
Yeah. So I'm trying to figure out how to shuffle my papers digitally, so that I'm not like interrupting people. I'm not being rude, but I'm kind of letting them know that we need to move on, and like, yeah. Like, I'm trying to figure out the signal. Okay.
All right. How we do? Okay. It's 11:46. You got like 10 minutes left to finish your picture.
Oh, I can do 10 minutes. Yeah. I'll turn off the main figure.
I didn't really draw very much, so it's just a sort of colourful background. Really, I put a little caveman in here.
Yeah, I saw your little caveman.
He's a bit angry at the AI that's destroyed his society, but it's his own fault for voting for Donald Trump.
No, I was thinking your MAGA bear. That could be one of Sebastian's policies. Is that because of Brexit? And because of everything that's happening in America, we just join forces, right? And that should fix everything.
Yeah, make America Great Britain again.
Exactly. You understand?
Because Great Britain's really got it figured out.
Yeah, exactly.
The trouble is there's no fucking philosophy anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, there used to be.
Well, we had this sort of like religious philosophy. It was sort of 6 of one, half dozen of the other. It was sort of using to control and manipulate people, but it was also encouraging people to be nice to each other.
So you're saying that because we're more secular as a society, people are less nice?
Because
I don't believe that.
I don't believe you need it. No, I don't believe that a moral goodness comes from like religion telling you, but you do need someone sort of setting you a good example.
Yes, I could see that, but because I mean, studies have proven that atheists actually commit less crimes than religious folk. And
sure. I mean but that's more because they're sort of intelligent, educated people. It's more about that really than they've thought about reality a little bit more. I don't know. I mean, I just think anytime it sort of comes into terms of religion, it's sort of you're going off the track. Yes. So.
Yeah.
I mean, that religion is good. It's stories for children, right? That's how Joseph Campbell frames it. They're to open the door to the ineffable. There's the stories. There's these things that cannot be described in human words or thought. You can describe them in sort of stories and analogies. But as soon as you start taking those stories and analogies as being the literal truth, they're not. Like all our stories that we've kept are the ones that are like, we've shaped them to fit what we want.
Yeah. Yeah. Joseph Campbell in Hero of a Thousand Faces, his assessment was that when thunder would rumble, it scared people and they needed an explanation for why the thunder was rumbling.
Yes.
Right. And it started in a cave and someone said, oh, the gods are angry. And, then you're right. It's stories for children. Maybe the children ask, well, who are the gods? Right. And so the story starts with, well, we need this explanation. And then the iconography and worship of the gods came over time, and ritual worship, where if you did a certain ritual, it would please the gods, right? You feed the representatives of the forest spirit, food, and the forest spirit shall look after you, right? You, bring this tree in this time of year and acknowledge the fact that all things die during this time of year, except for this one tree, right? And then as time progresses and religions become more advanced and stuff, and then that becomes the dogma, where it's like, it's trying less to try and explain what things are and then saying like, this is the explanation, right? It's trying to say that it's trying less to understand the world and more trying to say, like, explain it as this is this and you don't question it. That's what I mean by the dogma of it.
Yes.
And yeah, and so he talks about when that happened, when you couldn't question it anymore, that's when it got perverted, right? Because prior to that, like, there's probably a stage in religion where it was very malleable, where the rituals changed from valley to valley. And then when they began to trade that close to each other, they realized their rituals were different, and maybe they made them similar, right? But then they started to trade further and further and further, and the rituals changed. And yeah, it's interesting. It's just there's a book, The Time Following Bodies Take the Light by William Irwin Thompson. If you're curious about how all myth has validity as well as no myth.
Yeah.
And so it kind of takes Joseph Campbell's ideas and then says, like, Joseph Campbell was saying, like, this is why we have this similar story everywhere. But William Irwin Thompson was saying that this is how that story everywhere affected everything, right? And this is what people got out of that story in these different places. And this is how those stories still affect each other. And this is how they don't, like, talk to each other anymore.
All right. I'm just going to say quickly, if anybody is like watching this wanting to learn about drawing art, I'm using the comic book coloring technique that I learned when I went to a seminar at Comic-Con one year, and the comic book colorist was saying, and you do your flat colors. I'm doing it very quickly because I'm trying to do it quickly as possible, and then you sort of section off areas with the lasso tool, and then you do a gradient within that, and actually that works pretty effectively as a sort of quick way to get through coloring, and that's sort of the pro comic book way of doing it these days, or it was, sorry, in the early 2000s. They probably moved on a bit now. I'm probably a little dated. What's the kind of techniques?
Let's see.
But you get the gist.
This is my new favorite. This is my new favorite brush right now. Is this grungy brush? Yeah, I've been like using it in everything. It's like as soon as I discovered it, I went, ooh, grungy brush.
Yeah, I have one that I really likes to use. That's a sort of gives a nice kind of effect. Oh, yeah. I mean, everybody has sort of certain brushes they like, and then other people are like, oh, what brush do you use? But it's about finding the one that you like for you. I mean, I've done that where I've sort of found out what pen somebody uses, and I use it, and I said, well, that's not, you solve that, you figure it out, and then you're like, well, that's not really what I want to do.
I didn't want to destroy your drawing of your legs. Just put a mat in front of it.
Oh no, that's kind of I hadn't really.
The legs are still there.
Legs. Yeah, don't worry about that.
Yeah, the legs are still there, and then I realized that I need to extend this out. I need to extend.
Yeah, I'm just doing a quick color on your robot since I ran out of drawing things to do.
That's okay. Yeah, I noticed that you were well. I also got into talking politics and history and philosophy and mythology and art.
Yeah, well, you're
Yeah.
being a little more ambitious over there.
Oops.
But all right, you made a nice, easily colorable robot there. It's,
Hey, good.
simple. Boom, boom,
Yeah.
boom.
Uh-oh. Oh no.
Oh, I like.
did
Okay, it's got a power button on there.
Oops.
The power symbol. Oh, yeah. That's what we think about that.
Oops. I have to fix that. I did that on the wrong layer. Boop. Deleted. Okay. That's okay. And then we'll do this.
Yeah. What happened to you?
Here we go. So she's like, oh, I'm in front. Ooh, I like.
Very good.
I like the. Yeah, I like the.
Okay, let me get these eyeballs done.
Yeah, I like the brain color you have going on there, and then yeah, no, yours looks cool. Yeah, yours looks cool. I like that. And then the green flag is a nice touch against the red.
Yeah, that's sort of probably a bit of green. What color eyes?
Because of color theory, I would say dot him green in the eyes, and then you want a touch of green in the lower right hand corner. So you may want to add some grass.
Like it all.
Yes. Hello, beep beep.
There's just people coming in right at the end, as we often get people coming in like right in the last few minutes of the show.
Yeah.
I think like they sort of know that your show's ending, and then let's come and watch the show. But we end at noon.
Yeah.
I'm after the Schultz Museum. So where you said a little green somewhere on the ground?
I said lower right hand corner.
Down here.
Yeah, because you got green in the upper left hand corner, you got green in the middle, and then the lower right hand corner would allow it to be balanced a little bit better.
Ooh, okay. This is okay. I'm not good at color theory. I really do not. Yeah, that's something I need to know more about.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
See,
I
just
see
like
that
that.
worked very nicely.
Bam,
Yes. All
that's
right.
it. Yeah. Yeah. You don't need a lot of it.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to sign it Urfspace and Art Glitch because.
Okay.
I'll just do
I guess I could sign mine. I guess I could sign mine somewhere.
You can sign that one also, Urfspace and Art Glitch.
Okay. Oh, I'm going to do a really janky brush for it then. Yeah, I'll do my janky splatter brush. Oops. Okay. No, I don't like that one. Let's get a different one. The way that I'm writing it, it's like it's the names of the two fembots.
All right. Well, I think we did quite well there. I quite like how this one came out. You got the AI has destroyed civilization. It's like
here. I will put
this for Kamala Harris now.
I'll put it down here.
All right. I'll save a JPEG of that to Photoshop JPEG.
Okay. See. And then
I'll put it back up. I'll put it back up on the thing and overwrite what was there before.
Okay. Yeah. I'm back. Also, I like the other guy's cat hat. So
thank you. Yes, my cat hat. That was a nice trade I got from. I swapped it for a copy of my book, Urfspace Heroes. So I think if you like pink pussy hats, you might also like Urfspace Heroes. Hi, Meep IDK.
Meep beep.
Thanks for coming back. Well, you've got to join us a little earlier because we do finish the show now at noon, and I'm off. I've got a hot date with Jonathan Lemon and the National Cartoonist Society to go to the Shorts Museum. Then I'm going to see my friends play afterwards, so I've got a long day.
I didn't.
Called Antipodes that's happening in San Rafael.
I just loaded up the PSD. I didn't make a JPEG out of it in case you want to color it, and so yeah.
That's fine. I like it in black and white. That's good. Yeah, I only colored this because I didn't feel like I had enough time to do enough of the background. So
I don't know. I think he's kind of good. I feel like I kind of compared to the legs, I kind of rushed the front arms a little bit.
Yeah,
but
no, I like it. Yeah, well, I mean, mine wasn't perfect either. It's pretty good. All right, very fun. I enjoyed that a lot, and that time flies when you're having fun.
Yeah, it was a good time.
All right, well, we'll do that again.
Yeah. You know, some other time when Dale is robot funeral or memorial or wake or something.
Yes.
Maybe it's a vigil. You know, where they have to stay over the robot's body until it is buried.
All right, well, I'm going to play the theme tune now because Lemon's going to be here for me at any minute, and.
All right, good show, guys. Good show.
Yeah, thanks everybody. Yeah, we're back every
The
week.
drawings turned out great.
Bye,
Twitch,
disembodied voice of Sam. Bye, audience.
Bye, good drawings and good artists.
Yeah, we show every Saturday morning.
Good night, Moon.
Well, next week, 2 weeks time, I won't be here because I'll be doing Fan Expo San Francisco, so be there. But I'll try and chime in. Maybe Amber and Dale can do a show that day, and I'll chime in or something. I'm not going to hold anybody to anything. No, sorry.
Yeah, well, Sam would have to be Studio Monkey.
Yeah, Sam could do it. We'll see. Maybe we'll do a live show, but we've got another show before then, and we'll be doing Philo tonight at 6.
Yes,
6
Philo
PM
tonight at
Pacific
6.
time
I have.
every week.
Wait. I had a thing. I did. Let me
Philo
get
card.
the thing. Let me get the thing. Okay. Thing. Here.
Should I play the intro or outro?
Wait. Not yet.
Amber just wants to show us the Philo
Thing.
table card.
Yes.
I'll do that. There we go.
Yes,
Philo
right
tonight
here.
at 6.
Right
That's
up here
also a regular
tonight.
show. It's an even more professional show than this one because they've
9
actually got a
p.m.
proper format. And
Eastern Standard
we do
Time, 6 p.m.
a viewer-inspired comic where you tell them what to draw
Philo.
and they draw the next panel of this crazy story of Philo the alien that I can't, like, every
There's
time I
Philo.
check in on it, I'm like, what happened?
There's meow.
What happened?
There's the dog. What's going on? I don't know. Turn in. Help us right.
That too. All right.
Yeah.
Here's the theme tune, everybody. Bye.
Bye.
Song for Chuck Whelan showy. He asked me to write one, but I stole from David Bowie. Here's a theme song. Chuck Whelan is the best. We have lots of hosts, but we're running out of gas. Will you be our guest on? Will you be our guest on? Beyond the Chuck Whelan show. Whoa.